Hi, this message is for my sons. I'm creating these videos that maybe someday you'll see them, either my sons or my grandsons, and you'll hear it and it'll resonate with you. And maybe it'll change the trajectory of your life. Who knows? But this is from Proverbs 31, and it's the words of King Lemuel. It's an oracle that his mother taught him. So early in Proverbs, it says for sons to take discipline from their father and to take lessons and from their mother, and to really listen to the wisdom and the mother and the father, so that you can gain wisdom and discipline. So, it says at the very beginning, take your father's instruction and do not forsake your mother's teaching. So all the way at the end of Proverbs, in Proverbs 31, and there's only a couple of small pieces of Proverbs that were written by King Lemuel, but the rest of it was written by King Solomon. It says, what are you doing? So this is to my boys, my sons and grandsons. At some point, if you hear this, please listen carefully. What are you doing, my son? What are you doing, the son of my womb? What are you doing, the son of my vows? It is not for you to give up your strength to women, or those who will destroy kings. Do not give up your strength. It's not for kings. It's not for kings to drink wine, lest they drink and forget what has been decreed, and pervert the rights of all of those affected. But do give strong drink to the one who is perishing, and whose wine is needed in the bitter distress. Let them drink and forget their poverty, and remember their misery no longer. Open your mouth for the mute, and for the rights of those that are destitute. Open your mouth and judge righteously. Defend the rights of the poor and the elderly. So that's just a few lines of very specific direction that the king is passing on to his sons and grandsons, and it's the same message that I would like to pass on to my sons and grandsons. So step through this. What are you doing, my son? What are you doing, the son of my womb? A lot of us think that the womb is only in the woman, but we all have wombs. We all have places of safety and that sacredness, and that place in us where there's peace and there's calm and there's comfort and it's nourishing. We all have that part in us, in our lives, men and women alike. Women just have the physical womb to grow and bear children, but we as men have a womb as well, where we are safe and protective of all of those within our concern. Do not give your strength to women, your ways to those who will destroy kings. So do not surrender your strength over to women. Do not surrender your manliness, your manhood, and the strength and the discipline that God is asking of us as men, and our calling as men to be leaders and spiritual leaders. And it's not, please understand this, guys, it's not that, this is actually for my girls. By being a helper to the man, as in the Bible, doesn't make you inferior. If anything, it makes you stronger, because it's the one who needs help that is the weakest. It's not the helper. And that's how God has created women. So in many ways, women are a lot stronger in certain ways. But physically, men are just, we're built physically different, and we've always been stronger, and the stronger of the sexes. But we can't surrender all the other strengths too, that fortitude that we have, the thing that makes us men, the wanting to be explorers and conquerors and and protective, and so we can't surrender that strength as we reach out to the strong women in our lives to help guide us. It's not for kings, O Lemuel. It's not for kings to drink wine unless they drink and they forget what has been decreed. When you're in a leadership role, whether it's leadership of your family or of your company or of your team or of your group, you have a certain responsibility that you have to be clear-minded and clear-headed and be able to make good decisions and be calm and to evaluate, be steadfast, have a balance in your life. That's what we're called to do and to be and how we're supposed to be. So when we drink too much or we over-medicate or we do drugs, we surrender all of that, and it renders us weaker and less effective in our lives. So watch what you drink. I'm not saying don't drink and don't do what you need to do to use medications or whatever, but you always have to have a balance, and you can't become inebriated or intoxicated, because then, what's it say here? You're not clear thinking. It says, so don't overdo in the drink. Don't do it. And do not pervert the rights of all of those that are afflicted. When you don't think clearly, you are more inclined to think selfishly, for sure, but all of those that are afflicted and that need your help and your strength and your love and your womb, they miss out when we are not firm of mind, in balance, clear thinking. It says, give the strong drink, however, though, to the one who's perishing, and to wine to those that are in bitter distress. So here in the Bible, in Proverbs, it's saying that it's okay to have a drink or two and to calm one, especially if they're perishing and they're suffering, then it's okay. Let them finish out their lives. So using medication wisely makes sense. So you can give it to those who really need it and who are suffering. Anybody who would deny giving medication to someone who has, some mental issues or some physical difficulties is being short-sighted. But we just need to be careful with it. And let them drink so that they can forget their poverty and remember their misery no more. Open your mouth for the mute, for those who don't have a voice, for those who can't stand up for themselves. Open up your mouth. You speak for them. You be a leader for them. You take their concerns as your own. So open your mouth for the mute and for the rights of all who are destitute, the poor people, the have-nots, those that are suffering from conditions that are just beyond our even comprehension. And there are so many people in our neighborhood, in our states, in our country, in this world that are so destitute. I mean, the fact that people don't have clean water is mind-blowing to me. The fact that some of the conditions that they live in, we couldn't even comprehend because of all of the wealth that we are able to take advantage of in our own lives and in this country. But you need to stand up for those who can't. And that's what it says. Open your mouth for the mute and for the rights of all who are destitute. They need you. Open your mouth and judge righteously. What's fair? What makes sense? And defend the rights of the poor and the needy, which is just another way of saying that you need to be the voice for those who are voiceless. You need to stand up. You need to use your abilities, your skills, your resources, your wherewithal. So sons, that's what I'm calling on to you. Sons, that's the message that King Lemuel is laying down before his sons thousands of years ago. But they're the same basic fundamental principles that make men men and that make us live a worthwhile life. So I love you with all of my heart. Not sure when you will see this. And if you do, know that my hope and prayer for my sons is that you truly become spiritual leaders, not just of your family, but of your communities, and take responsibility. Take advantage of all the gifts that God has given you. It's incredible. So, be men. Stand up. Be the spiritual leaders of my family. Carry that on, please. So, that's the message to my sons. I love you, and to my grandsons. Love you, love you, love you with all my heart.